Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Verified Gains. Happy Saturday. Hope everyone is off to a good start to the weekend. Summer is almost coming to an end, but that is a good thing because that means the Bitcoin cycle top is right around the corner. Please stay tuned. Please make sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss out on the Bitcoin cycle top. I post here weekly. I'll make sure to keep you guys updated if I feel like I'm going to sell my assets for this cycle. So please stay tuned because later in the video, I'm going to review our plan for the Bitcoin cycle top, the proposed date when that was going to happen, and I'm going to tell you more about my meme coin trades that I've been doing recently. So let's dive right into the charts. Right now, looking at Bitcoin. Um, guess what happened yesterday? 4+%. Jerome Powell, the federal chair, finally came out saying at the Jackson Hole, right? So he came out saying, look, there might be a federal interest rate cut in September. Which, by the way, if you guys watch my videos from before, that's what I predicted, right? I told you guys time and time again, rate cut is going to happen in the fall. I know a lot of you guys were having a lot of fear, uncertainty, doubt, but guess what? That's the kind of weak mindset that is not going to make you money, okay? What's the famous saying? Scared money don't make money. And I told you guys time and time again, look, all my videos are posted. I don't edit any of my videos. Please go back and watch them. I emptied out my bank account back in April when everyone was scared of the tariff war. People are like, oh my gosh, the US economy is in shambles. We're going down. And I said, oh, great. There's the perfect opportunity to get greedy. Buy. Basically, emptied out my bank account, bought Solana, Popcat very heavily. And now, we're just seeing the fruits of our labor, right? So same thing is going to happen. All the doubters, all the bears, all the people on the sideline are just going to say, oh, well, yeah, we're not sure if the federal interest rate is going to get cut. Yeah, we're not sure if the Bitcoin is going to go up further from here. Well, guess what? They're just going to remain poor. Okay, they're just going to sit on the sidelines, regretting that they had put more money into the cryptocurrency market. I've proven people time and time again that whatever their poor strategy is, that's not the way to do it. Okay, so you guys really only need to follow one channel, verified gains right here. So if you guys subscribe and follow my videos, okay, we're going to make 6 figures, 7 figures, even 8 figures for some people out there. Okay, if you have a lot of seed money, you're going to make 8 figures this year. Of course, that is not financial advice. Please invest at your own discretion, do your own due diligence. This is for educational purposes only. Okay, so yesterday, because of the hint of the federal interest rate cut in September, we did rebound, right? A lot of people are fearing that we're going to go back down to $110,000. And I said, here, that's not going to happen. When we're drawing down, I said again on my previous video, that is not going to happen. And guess what? We bounced back up. There's a hard rejection at the resistance line at $117,000. And right now, we're pulling back a little bit off that rejection. Right now, our goal is to break through. Okay, so I wouldn't say this is the best buying opportunity right here. Okay, what we're trying to see is a breakthrough $117,000 and the consolidation above it. Now, that is the better buying opportunity. Okay. So in terms of Bitcoin, let's turn on the M2 money shift to see where we are. So, we're right on schedule. Okay, so if you zoom in right here, we're right on schedule. We're doing quite well, and it looks like for the next 1 week, we're gonna continue going up. So that is my prediction. Just by looking at the M2 money shift, we're gonna continue resume upwards by August 26th. Okay, so over the next 3 days, over the weekend, I predict that we're going to go up. Perhaps most of the gain coming in, Sunday leading up to Monday. Okay, so that's what we're seeing over here. So for today, just enjoy the weekend. Hold on to your horses because I just don't think for me there's not a great buying zone over here. It's a little bit risky because it's possible that we pull back all the way and retest. We'll have to see. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin dominance. Okay, so the Bitcoin dominance continues to drop. Now that the Bitcoin cycle is almost coming to an end, I really don't see the Bitcoin dominance going back up, 60 plus percent. I think we continue to drop towards 44.0%, at which point I'm going to sell my altcoin assets, right? So if you're not familiar with that strategy, please go back and watch my old videos. I talk about when I'm expecting the altcoin season, when I'm expecting to sell my altcoin assets. Okay, but for all the new subscribers, by the way, thank you for subscribing. And for the new people to this channel, 44.0% is the Bitcoin dominance that I'm looking for to sell my altcoin, and that includes Ethereum, Solana, all my meme coins. Okay. All right, let's take a look at Ethereum. Remember, I'm a Solana bull, so I'm not buying Ethereum, but it is very important to keep track of the major layer ones, right? And Ethereum is doing quite well, especially with Tom Lee, CEO of BitMine, coming on CNBC, hyping up Ethereum. We're back to the previous all-time high from 2021, and I do expect Ethereum to keep going up. I don't know what price, but I do expect it to keep going up. Now that you might ask, okay, where the heck is all my Ethereum? And they're parked in Turbo. Turbo is highly under, appreciated. Nobody's really talking about Turbo, but I think Turbo is a solid coin. Of course, if you're not buying Pepe on the Ethereum chain, I think this is the next best thing. Okay, so Turbo, I'm not buying anymore. It's just that whatever previous Ethereum holdings I had, I converted all of it to Turbo. So if you're ever wondering, that's where my Ethereum coin is at. Let's take a look at Solana. Solana is doing very well. However, now this is the third time that we're retesting $205 at the resistance. Okay, so this is going to be very key. Now, once we break through 205 and consolidate above it, that's going to be a very bullish sign. So the first time back on July 22nd, we had a hard rejection. Okay, and then the second time, which was August 14th, we had another rejection. Okay. However, this time the $180 support line held very well. Okay, so we formed a higher low compared to over here. And right now what we're looking for is a breakthrough and a consolidation before we retest the previous all-time high around $267. So that's what we're looking for. Okay. Very exciting times. If I were to draw a simple trend line, overall, we are resuming towards the upside. I do expect some exponential movement, however, when the real alt season happens. And that is likely going to happen once Bitcoin hits cycle top mid-September. And actually, so let's talk about that. So mid-September, right? Mid-September Bitcoin cycle top. I've been preaching that for a very long time now. Basically, it's only based on really one thing, and it has to do with this timeline over here. So if you look at all the past cycles, when you take the low of the bear market, okay, the bear cycle, you take the number of days to the halving date, and then you replicate that forward, you basically get a date which estimates the cycle top. And just to prove this, if you look back at 2021, same thing, right? So this was around the cycle top. Back in 2017, around the cycle top. And if you guys don't believe me, You can do this on your own, okay? It's not that hard to do. It's just Control C, Control V, okay? So I would say it's a very reliable indicator. Now, I don't know exactly why this is the case, but it seems to have played out the previous three cycles, and I'm hoping for the same this cycle as well. However, my top indicator is going to be the pi cycle top indicator, which we'll take a look at the next time. And then, of course, the third one that I've been implementing recently, which is the RSI 90. Okay. So once the RSI 90 hits the level of 70, okay, which is going to be around the overbought territory, that also likely would indicate the cycle top. Okay, so that was a lot of information. Let's take a look at the meme coin sectors. So number one, Popcat. This is basically my main holding, right? So I'm super, super heavily invested into Popcat. This is not just play money, okay? I got a lot of money riding on Popcat. And so I'm really hoping that this meme coin does well overall. Right now, not a whole lot of activity. I'm going to be honest with you, okay? It has been, I wouldn't say like disappointing, but because it's not like the other meme coins are showing explosive movement to the upside, and this is the only thing that is stagnant. But it has been requiring a lot of patience from my end because we had this great exponential movement to the upside last year. And ever since we recover from the bottom over here in April, we've largely just been consolidating. I really wish we could stay above 35 cents though. I think that would be, much more bullish if we could at least stay above 35 cents. But that being said, on every red day, I've been buying in to Popcat, so I continue to increase my holdings in Popcat. Next, so this is the new one, right? And I've been posting this on YouTube as a post, not as a video, but as a post showing all my entries on pump.fun. And it is Trollcoin. Okay, so Trollcoin, I'm very pleased with how things are going. On every red day, I'll actually continue to buy into Troll as well. Now, this one, on my previous video, I talked about how I'm expecting a $1 billion market cap. And by $1 billion, I'll likely sell my assets. I'm not going to try to be greedy with Troll, to be quite honest. But that also means now I'm kind of entering the territory where I'm buying more than just quote unquote play money, okay? Then I thought to myself, okay, well, if I'm bullish about Troll, maybe not as much as Popcat, but if I am bullish about Troll, then I might as well go in heavy, set a goal, right? Which is sell at $1 billion market cap. So from current prices, that is 4x return, and then sell. And that is my plan. So I'll keep you guys updated. If you're into Trollcoin, please make sure to subscribe so that you can follow along how I'm carrying out this trade. Okay. So if I can make 5 figures, I think I'll be pretty happy with Troll, and that is my goal. Okay. Well, that's it for today. So again, if you guys are into Bitcoin, if you guys are into Solana, and now the meme coins, right? If you guys are into Popcat and or Troll, please make sure to subscribe. I really appreciate you guys subscribing to the channel. And, please also comment if you have any feedback, positive, negative. I don't mind the feedback. I just want to hear from you guys. All right. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.